Now, the first topic of module 1 which we are going to see, that is overall heat transfer coefficient. Now, first we will talk about what overall heat transfer coefficient is. Then we will go for the derivation of the same, or finding out the value of overall heat transfer coefficient for any given case. Now, here you can see that we have got a composite wall. The composite wall is made up of 3 different materials, material 1, 2, and 3. Thickness of each material is given. For the first material, the thickness is L1. For the second material, L2. For the third one, L3. On both sides of the composite wall, we have got some gas. So on this side, we have got a gas for which heat transfer coefficient value is H1. On the other side, heat transfer coefficient value is H2. Temperature for this particular gas is T1, and on the other side, the temperature is T2. Suppose that heat transfer is going to take place from T1 to T2. How many resistances will be there in between? There will be 5 resistances. First resistance due to convection, which is 1 by H1A. We are assuming that cross-sectional area for this particular wall, this particular area value, this area is capital A. So for all the surfaces, the area value will be equal to capital A. Even for convective heat transfer, the area value will be equal to capital A. So the first resistance value is 1 by H1A. Second resistance is due to conduction. Value is L1 by K1A. Similarly, L2 by K2A, L3 by K3A. And the last one is a gas. So heat transfer will take place by the mode of convection, and convective resistance will be 1 by H2A. Now, in this case, if we want to find out the total rate of heat transfer, it will be given by T1 minus T2 divided by the net resistance. Okay, here we have got different materials. We have got one gas, the second gas, again one solid material, other solid material, and one more solid material. So in total, we have got 5 different materials, and overall we will have 5 different resistances for flow of heat. Now, what we can do, instead of considering all these 5 materials, we can assume that there is a single material. So throughout this thing, we have got a single material, which is a gas. And for this given gas, the heat transfer coefficient value, it is given by capital U. Now, since it is a gas, now heat transfer will take place by the mode of convection. If heat transfer is taking place by the mode of convection, we can say that Q value is equal to HA delta T. In our case, H value is equal to capital U. So rate of heat transfer will be given by U multiplied by area multiplied by T1 minus T2. So this is the material for us. Instead of these 5 materials, we are considering that there is a single gas, and for that gas, the heat transfer coefficient value is capital U. Now, the assumption which we are making, that we have a single gas, whatever is the heat transfer coefficient for that particular gas, that will be called as overall heat transfer coefficient. Now, this heat transfer coefficient should be such that for the same temperature difference, for the temperature difference of T1 and T2, and for the same area, the rate of heat transfers must be equal. Then this U value will be called as overall heat transfer coefficient. So here we equate both the terms, that UA delta T, that is equal to rate of heat transfer. Here in rate of heat transfer, we are getting the area terms. This area term is common for all. So we have taken that common and we have put that to the numerator side. Now in this step, what we can do, we can cancel out this area, T1 minus T2 and T1 minus T2, and we get that U value is equal to this much. U is equal to 1 divided by 1 by H1 plus L1 by K1 plus L2 by K2 and so on. Now, if we will take the reciprocal on both the sides, we get that 1 divided by overall heat transfer coefficient, that is equal to 1 by H1 plus L1 by K1 plus L2 by K2 plus L3 by K3 plus 1 by H2. The question is find the overall heat transfer coefficient. I will prefer not using any formula. I will go for a simple method. We know how to find out heat transfer for any given case. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find out heat transfer for any given case. Q value can be determined by analyzing all the resistances, whatever is the system given. Such a question you can solve. If any composite wall is given, find the rate of heat transfer. Can you solve such a question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Say that you find out that answer. After that, what you can do, you can write that particular Q value is equal to U multiplied by A multiplied by delta T. After that, in order to find out U value, you can simply divide this rate of heat transfer by A delta T, and this gives you the overall heat transfer coefficient for that particular case. Okay, so instead of remembering any formula or mugging up any relation, we will be going for this method, that U is equal to Q divided by A delta T. Okay, next topic is also very similar. The next topic is equivalent thermal conductivity. So in this case also, in the previous case, what we did, we considered that instead of those materials, we had a gas. In this case, we are going to assume that instead of all the materials, we have some solid material, which has got a uniform thermal conductivity throughout the length. We have got three different materials. In the previous case, we had some gases over here. In this case, we don't have any gas. So if we will find out what is the rate of heat transfer, we will draw the electrical system. So in between T1 and T2, we are going to get three different resistances. First resistance, second resistance, and the third resistance. The value for the first resistance, that will be equal to L1 by K1A. Similarly, second one L2 by K2A, and the third one L3 by K3A. Now, if you want to find out equivalent thermal conductivity for this given material, what we are going to do, we are going to consider that instead of these three materials, we had a single material. The thickness will be L1 plus L2 plus L3. This entire thing will be the thickness of the material which we are going to consider. Here, the material had individual thermal conductivities. The thermal conductivity value is K1, K2, and K3. Here we are going to consider that the entire thing is having a single thermal conductivity, which is K equivalent, which is shown over here. So if I am writing the resistance for this case, in this case, in between T1 and T2, we will have a single resistance, and the resistance value will be given by L1 plus L2 plus L3, which is the length of the material, divided by K equivalent multiplied by area. So if I want to find out the rate of heat transfer will be given by T1 minus T2 divided by summation of all the resistances. Now, in order to find out equivalent thermal conductivity for the given case, we are going to assume that instead of these three materials, we had a single material, which has been given in black over here. Now, again, we can find out the rate of heat transfer in this case, in the case which we have assumed. So in our case, rate of heat transfer will be given by T1 minus T2 divided by L1 plus L2 plus L3 divided by K equivalent multiplied by area. Now, K equivalent is the thermal conductivity of this material, for which we are going to get the same rate of heat transfer which we got in the previous case. So is the concept of equivalent thermal conductivity clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here we are going to simplify the relation a bit. Here area terms can get cancelled out. Area is gone, area is gone, area is gone. T1 minus T2 can be cancelled off. What we get is 1 divided by L1 plus L2 plus L3 divided by K equivalent is equal to this much. Take the reciprocal on both the sides, or simply if the numerators are equal, the denominators must be equal. So the first denominator is equal to the second denominator. We are writing that L1 plus L2 plus L3 by K equivalent is equal to L1 by K1 plus L2 by K2 plus L3 by K3. You can rearrange the equation and you can find the value of K equivalent in this particular case. Now, not necessary that always this case will be given. Maybe some other combination will be given, and for that combination also you might be asked to find out the equivalent thermal conductivity. Example, say that we have a composite wall. The wall is made up of three different materials. So this is the first material, this is the second material, and this is the third material. In the previous case, we saw that all the resistances were in series with each other. In this case, if this is T1 value and this is T2 value, here we have three resistances, but all are not in series. If you will draw the system, this will be the first resistance, and the second and the third resistance will be in parallel with each other. So this is R1, this is R2, and again this is R3. So if you want to find out the equivalent thermal conductivity in this case, again I will suggest the same method, that find out the rate of heat transfer first. So rate of heat transfer will be equal to T1 minus T2 divided by the net thermal resistance in that case. I hope you know how to find out net thermal resistance for this particular case. So this would be equal to R1 plus R2 R3 divided by R2 plus R3, because it is in parallel. The resistances R2 and R3 are in parallel, and their parallel combination is in series with R1. So using this formula, we can find out the rate of heat transfer. Now we can consider that this is a single material. We have a single material, and for the single material, the length value will be equal to L1 plus L2. So here the length value can be taken as L1 plus L2. Area value is going to remain the same as that of the first material. So area value is, say, capital A, and this thermal conductivity value can be taken as K equivalent. Now L1, L2 values will be known, area value will be known, the temperature values will be known. So again, you can equate the rates of heat transfer in both the cases, and you can find out what will be the value of K equivalent. Is the concept clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyone who wants me to repeat the concept? Anyone who has doubt in the topic? Should we move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are done with the first two topics which were left for the first module. The next topic is thermal diffusivity. Now we will recall a derivation which we did in the first module. Anyone who can tell me what is the name of this equation? What is this equation for?
Steady flow equation, sir.
Not a steady flow equation. Anyone else? Here we have all the
Cartesian
terms.
coordinate.
Okay, Cartesian coordinate. Which equation?
General
for
heat conduction equation.
Very good. This is general heat conduction equation for Cartesian coordinate system. For Cartesian coordinate system. Now, if we will see the terms of those equations, of that equation, here the first term is the notation for E in minus E out. Second term denotes energy generation term, and the last term is energy stored term. We are going to focus on this last term. This is the rate at which energy is being stored inside the material. Now here we are getting one ratio. The ratio is rho c by K. Now we have a term which is called as thermal diffusivity. This thermal diffusivity is denoted by alpha, and it is defined as ratio of thermal conductivity of a material to heat storage capacity. So it is ratio of thermal conductivity to heat storage capacity, and this heat storage capacity is given by rho multiplied by specific heat capacity of the material. So whenever we are getting this term rho c by K, we can substitute that by 1 by alpha, because alpha is equal to K by rho c. So this is just the definition of thermal diffusivity. Later we will see what is the significance of thermal diffusivity. Is the definition clear to all? Any
Yes,
doubt?
sir.
Yes, sir.
So we have done two derivations till now. One was general heat conduction equation for Cartesian, and one was for cylindrical coordinate system. In both the relations, you will be getting this term. So wherever you are getting the term rho c by K, you can rewrite the same as 1 by alpha. So the last term is often written as 1 by alpha del T by del time. Here they are writing small t for temperature and tau for time. Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will see what is the significance of this thermal diffusivity. If thermal diffusivity of any material is very high, it means that time taken for heat to diffuse within the material will be low, or heat diffusion inside the material will take place at a faster rate. What does it mean? It means that, say that we are supplying heat to this particular material and I want heat to be spread throughout the material. So if thermal diffusivity value will be high, then this heat will be spread throughout the material at a fast. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. Say that we have got a material. I want heat to be spread throughout the material. If the thermal diffusivity value, if the alpha value will be very high, in that case, heat can be spread throughout the material at a faster rate. To understand this, we will take one analogy. So say that the material over here is Bangalore city. This is the city of Bangalore, and I want the city to be sanitized. So we are using a vehicle. We are using one vehicle, and that vehicle will be containing sanitizer, which it will be spraying throughout the city. Now, if alpha value will be high, then the sanitizer can be spread throughout the city at a faster rate. If the alpha value will be low, in that case, it will be spread at a slower rate. Is the analogy clear to all? Any doubt in this? Because we are going to take the same case to understand how this K, rho, and C values are going to affect the thermal diffusivity value. Is the case clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we will consider the same example. So here heat diffusion means heat diffusion we have compared to spraying sanitizers across the city Bangalore. We have got one car or we have got some vehicle. That vehicle will be used to spray sanitizer throughout the city. Now suppose that the speed of this particular vehicle is very high. First case, the speed is very high, and the second case, speed is low. In which case sanitizer will be sprayed quickly? First case or second case?
Second case.
Abe. See, first case, the speed of the vehicle is high. It means it can cover the entire city in a smaller duration of time. Second case, the speed is slow. Here I'll write the speed. First case, the car is traveling at 60 kilometers per hour. 60 kilometers per hour. Second case, it is traveling at 20 kilometers per hour. So in which case it can cover the entire city quickly? First case or second case?
First case.
Sir, in first case, sanitizer spreading is not even.
Okay, we are assuming that if the car is reaching a particular point, the sanitizer is spread over there. This is our assumption. Clear now? Yes, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the first case, when the speed of the car will be high, the sanitizer will be spread at a faster rate. Now this speed of the vehicle is corresponding to thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity helps in travel of heat. So this sanitizer is, this vehicle is containing the sanitizer. The faster the vehicle will be moving, the faster the heat will be traveling throughout the material. So better is the thermal conductivity of the material, better will be the rate at which heat will be moving inside the material. Is this part clear to all? Is the thermal conductivity part clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second one is density. Suppose that this is the material. The material is highly dense. Highly dense means the molecules will be very, very closely packed. Since it is very, very closely packed, there will be hindrance for flow of heat. Now, what I'm doing, I am comparing this density of the material with traffic signals. So we have got two different cases. We have got the first car, and we have got the second car. First car is moving on a road. This is car 1, this is car 2. For the first car, there are 5 traffic signals in between. There are 5 traffic signals in between, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the second car, there is only 1 traffic signal for the entire journey. So which car is going to spread the sanitizer quickly? First car or second car?
Second car.
Second car, because it will be stopping less number of times. The first car is going to stop 5 number of times. The second car is going to stop only once. For the first car, there was a lot of hindrance for travel. For the second car, there is very less hindrance for traveling. So we can say that in the second case, where the hindrance is low, where the number of traffic signals are low, sanitizer will be spread at a faster rate in the city. Or we can say that when the density of the material is low, heat will be diffused throughout the material at a faster rate. Is this part clear to everyone? Yes, no? Guys, am I audible? Is the network proper?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We will see the third case. So our formula was alpha is equal to thermal diffusivity is equal to K divided by rho C. When we are increasing the K term, it means we are increasing the speed of the car. So alpha value is going to increase. When alpha is increasing, we can see that sanitizers were spread at a faster rate. So heat will be diffused at a faster rate. When we are decreasing this rho value, when we are decreasing the low value, again alpha value is going to increase. When we were decreasing the number of traffic signals, what was happening? Alpha value was increasing and sanitizers were again spread at a faster rate. Heat will be diffused at a faster rate. Now we will see how this specific heat capacity is going to affect the flow of heat. So this C term is in the denominator. We will see what is the significance of this C term. Now heat capacity means it is signifying how much heat can be stored at a particular point by the material. So we are going to consider this as traffic holding capacity of any particular signal. We will take 2 examples. First example, we have Kundanhalli signal. First example is Kundanhalli signal. The second one, we have got one more signal. Say that this is some signal near Kabban Park. Some signal near Kabban Park. Now, which signal has higher traffic holding capacity? Kundanhalli signal or some signal near Kabban Park? Or take this as MG road.
Kabban Park.
I'll take some other example.
Silk board.
Martali Bridge.
Just a minute.
Hulsoor Lake.
Okay, first one is the Kundanhalli signal, and second one is, suppose we are making a signal in front of CMRIT. Very thin road is there. We are making a signal over there. Right now, in which case do you feel that the traffic holding capacity will be higher, at Kundanhalli signal or at CMRIT?
Kundanhalli.
Okay, at Kundanhalli, the traffic holding capacity will be higher. Suppose that this can hold 50 vehicles at a time. This can hold only 10 vehicles at a time. So what happens on this signal? The first car is arriving. This signal is red. Second car is arriving, signal is red. Third is arriving, signal is red. The 50th car arrives. This is the 50th car. Once the 50th car is arriving, the signal is going to turn green. This is the coding which we have done for the traffic signal. It will turn into red and green on the basis of number of cars which are arriving on the signal. Here traffic holding capacity is 10. So first car is arriving, signal is red. Second one red, third one red. Once the 10th one arrives, the signal turns green. Is the case clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, in
Yes,
this
sir.
case, at Kundanhalli
Sir.
signal, the first car has to wait for 49 more cars to arrive. At CMRIT signal, the first car has to wait only for 9 more cars to arrive. After that, all the cars are free to move. So in which case flow of traffic will be more smooth? Flow of traffic will be faster in which case? At CMRIT signal or at Kundanhalli signal?
CMRT signal.
At
CMRIT.
CMRIT signal, the flow of traffic will be smoother. The flow of traffic will be faster because here the holding capacity is low. Once it reaches the holding capacity, the signal allows the vehicle to move. So once 10 cars are arriving at the signal, all the cars are free to move now. So similarly, when the heat capacity of any material is low, it can hold only a particular amount of heat. It can hold only 10 units of heat. Once 10 units of heat are attained, it is allowing the entire quantity to move ahead in the material. So again, if heat capacity of the material is low, it cannot hold the heat for a longer duration of time. It has to allow the heat to flow through the material. So in which case do you feel heat diffusion will be higher, at Kundanhalli or at CMRIT? Guys, am I audible?
CMRT.
Okay, at CMRIT, the heat diffusion will be faster because it is not holding the heat for a longer duration of time. It is letting the heat go once 10 packets of heat arrive over there. But Kundanhalli is making the heat wait for 50 packets to arrive over there. Is the concept clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now
Yes, sir.
again we will see the equation. Our equation is alpha is equal to K divided by rho C. K divided by rho C. K was the thermal conductivity, K was the speed of the car. If we are increasing the speed of the car, the rate of heat travel that is going to increase. Rho is density, it is the number of traffic signals. So if we are decreasing the number of traffic signals, the rate of heat diffusion is going to increase. C is the waiting time. So if we are decreasing the waiting time or holding capacity of traffic at a particular signal, again the rate of heat diffusion is going to increase. So this is how alpha is related to K and rho C. And what is alpha denoting? Alpha value will be denoting how fast heat diffusion can take place inside any material. Is the concept clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now please note that this alpha value and K value are different. K tells us how fast a particular material can conduct heat or how fast the car is moving. Now, not necessary that if the car is moving fast, it is going to spread the sanitizers very quickly. Maybe a fast car has to face a lot of traffic. Maybe the fast car has to wait on a traffic signal which has a very high holding capacity. So in that case also, maybe the thermal diffusivity term will be low. Are you getting the concept? The difference between diffusivity and conduction? Conduction tells us only about the speed of the car, but not about the other factors. Whereas this thermal diffusivity actually tells us how fast heat diffusion will take place inside the material. Heat diffusion will not depend only on conductivity, it will depend on other parameters also. How fast the traffic is flowing, that will be telling us the value of heat diffusion. Is the concept clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, here we have picture of data handbook. This you will get on the property, this you will get in the properties chapter. So these are properties of metals at 20 degrees Celsius. Here the first column is for different metals. Second column is for density. Unit is kg per meter cube. The third column is thermal diffusivity. Here the relation for thermal diffusivity is also given. So in case the question comes for exam that define thermal diffusivity, here you have the formula for thermal diffusivity. Seeing the formula, you can recall that what thermal diffusivity was. Again, here you can see the next one is for specific heat capacity, and the last one is for thermal conductivity. Here I have highlighted two different materials. First material is aluminium alloy. Second material is also aluminium alloy, but both have different compositions. For the first material, you can see that the thermal conductivity value is 117. For the second, 177. For the second material, the thermal conductivity is 117. So you can clearly see that the speed of the first car is high and the speed of the second car is low. Thermal conductivity for the first material is high. Thermal conductivity for the second material is low. But when we will see the thermal diffusivity terms, the thermal diffusivity term is same for both, because both will be facing different traffic conditions. In the first case, the density is high. It means it is traveling on a road which has more number of traffic signals. For the second one, the density is low. It means it is traveling on a road which has less number of traffic signals. Hence, this lower thermal conductivity is compensated due to low number of traffic signals, and both are diffusing heat at the same rate. Both are spreading the sanitizers at the same rate. Is the concept clear to everyone now? If any doubt is there, ask me. Anyone, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Should we move ahead to the next topic?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the next topic which we are going to discuss. This topic is, and this is the last topic for today. This topic is types of boundary conditions. Now, again, when we were starting fins, I said that types of boundary conditions is something which we always talk about, but we don't know what it is. We will see what that statement means now. So there are three different types of boundary conditions. We have boundary condition of first kind. Boundary condition of first kind means the temperature at different points will be given. Okay, first of all, what are boundary conditions? In heat transfer or in any subject, we will come across different governing equations. So here our governing equation was the general heat conduction equation. So for a given case, we will try to solve that heat conduction equation, that general heat conduction equation. The solution of that particular differential equation, that gives us different integration constants. In order to find out the values of those integration constants, we might use different boundary conditions. Now, the boundary conditions are categorized under different categories. First is boundary condition of first kind. Boundary condition of first kind says that temperature at any given point is known. So here we have a wall. On this surface of the wall, the temperature is given as T1. On the other surface of the wall, the temperature is given as T2. This temperature is noted at a particular time, small t. So we are writing the boundary condition like this. At x is equal to 0, temperature at x is equal to 0 and time t, that temperature value is T1. Again at x is equal to L, temperature is equal to T2. So whenever the temperature values are given to you, this particular boundary condition will be called as boundary condition of first kind. We have boundary condition of second kind. So boundary condition of second kind says that the rate of heat transfer through any surface will be known. For example, here we have got a wall. On this side, the rate of heat transfer is given. This is Q1 by A value. That's why I have written by small q1. So Q1 by A value is equal to small q1. And again, on this side also, the rate at which heat is coming out is known. It is given by small q2. Now, here heat will be traveling by the mode of conduction. So we can say that at x is equal to 0, the rate of conduction per unit area should be equal to q1. Rate of conduction is given by minus Ka dt by dx. If you want to find out rate of conduction per unit area, so this area term will be gone and rate of conduction per unit area will be minus K dt by dx. Now here we don't know whether this temperature is a function of time or not, whether temperature is a function of other parameters like y and z or not. So we are using del T by del x term. We are being very general. So in this case, we are writing the boundary condition as at x is equal to 0, rate of conduction is equal to Q1. At x is equal to L, rate of conduction per unit area, that is equal to Q2. So whenever information is given about the rate of heat transfer, the boundary condition will be called as boundary condition of second kind. We have boundary condition of third kind. So for boundary condition of third kind, it is also called as convection boundary condition. As per this condition, on the surfaces, whenever a solid is in contact with a fluid, the rate of convection will be equal to rate of conduction. Here heat is entering by the mode of convection and heat will be traveling ahead by the mode of conduction. So we can say that at that particular surface, heat conduction will be equal to heat convection. On this surface also, heat is going out or heat is entering this particular layer by the mode of conduction and it is traveling out by the mode of convection. So at this particular layer also, rate of conduction will be equal to rate of convection. Whenever we are using this boundary condition will be called as boundary condition of third kind. Now we will see different cases where we have used different boundary conditions and we will try to judge whether the given boundary condition is of first kind, second kind or the third kind. So I will take you back to the slides of fins and you need to let me know that the boundary condition is of which type. So can you see the slide on the screen for infinitely long fin? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Now, yes, sir.
Okay. Now here this is the first case of fins. We had this general governing equation for temperature distribution. In order to find out the values of C1 and C2, we took different boundary conditions. So here the first boundary condition says that at x is equal to 0, T is equal to TB. So we are giving you the temperature value at a particular point. So tell me, this is the boundary condition of which type? First kind, second kind or third kind?
First type, sir.
Okay, sorry. This is the boundary condition of first kind because the temperature value is known at x is equal to 0. Similarly, at x is equal to infinity, again temperature value is given as TB. So this is boundary condition of which type, which kind? First, second or third? Guys, am I audible? Here also at x is equal to infinity.
First kind.
This is also boundary condition of first kind because here also the temperature value is given to you. We will move to the second case of fins. Just a minute. We will move to the second case of fins. The second case of fins says that at x is equal to 0, this is the first boundary condition. At x is equal to 0, T is equal to TB. So boundary condition of which kind?
First kind again.
Okay, because again the temperature at that particular point is given. Now here the case was the fin is insulated at the tip. So if the fin is insulated at the tip, what is the rate of heat transfer at this particular portion, at this particular section?
0.
0. Here the rate of heat transfer is equal to 0. So do we know the rate of heat transfer at this particular section?
Yes, sir.
Okay, rate of heat transfer is known at that particular section. So we are going to equate that. At x is equal to L, this we were getting from rate of heat conduction is 0. So this is boundary condition of which type? First type, second type or third type?
Second kind.
Second kind, because the rate of heat transfer is known at that particular section. So this will be called as boundary condition of second kind. We will move to the third case. So again, for the third case, the first condition is at x is equal to 0, temperature value is known. So boundary condition of which kind?
First.
First kind. At x is equal to L, this was the fin with convective tip. So at x is equal to L, the rate of heat conduction will be equal to rate of heat convection. This will be boundary condition of which type? First kind, second kind or third kind?
Third, sir.
Third kind, because here we are using the convective boundary condition, which says that rate of conduction is equal to rate of heat convection.